So you love Italian food, but you're not sure what you should buy to be able to cook Italian cuisine. So in this video, I'm going to give you my top 5 ingredients that you must have in your pantry to be able to tackle any Italian dish. Hello, I'm Chef Sabrina. I teach you cooking and baking techniques and give you tons of tips, like in this case, to always eat deliciously every time. So this video actually is inspired by a request from one of you. And I really appreciate it. That's why I'm always saying, please give me ideas of what you would like to see, what ingredients, what techniques. And in this case, I was asked what food items or what ingredients you should have to be able to cook Italian food. So I gather my main ingredients that I always use, and honestly, the ones that are kind of like in a repeat on most Italian dishes. And I would really encourage you to look at my North of Italy and South of Italy videos, because you're gonna see that I cover a lot of information in them, and it's gonna just give you a better idea of what Italy and its dishes and its regionality is all about. Okay, so the main categories are pasta, cheese, duh, of course, right? Herbs, rice, and fats. And I'll develop more of each category as we go. Now with each category, I'm also going to tell you what other ingredients I would have if I wanted to even expand my pantry, okay? So I give you the must-haves, but also some other options in case you actually wanna expand it and do a little bit more. When it comes to pasta, always have a long pasta and a short pasta. Now, does it have to be fresh or dry? Well, it's, of course, if it's in the pantry, it's gonna be dry. If you wanna go a little bit further, you could have some fresh pastas in your fridge or in your freezer. If you make your own, you could have it in your freezer, and nowadays you can find really, really good pasta, especially stuffed pastas you can find in the refrigerator aisle, and they're really, really good. But if it's pantry, I would always have a long one, and I like thin spaghetti, but you could have like regular spaghetti or linguine, mafalde, tagliatelle, which you can find now dry as well. And then for short pasta, you can have, whatever you like. I love orecchiette. I think I've said that before because I love the little holes it has, and I love how the sauce gets in it. And I love the pasta from the south of Italy, which, this is from Puglia. And so I love orecchiette, but honestly, rigatoni or penne. So a long pasta and a short pasta. And if you want to go further, you could have something in the refrigerator that it's fresh and maybe stuffed. Then, of course, cheese. You must have cheese. And what cheese? Well, obviously the king, right? The king of cheeses, Parmigiano Reggiano. And that is from Parma, in the region of Emilia-Romagna, in Italy, in the north. The other cheese that I would also have is pecorino. And let me put this aside. The reason why I have this here like this is because I wanted to show you how I bring this. I bought actually in Italy, and this is how I bring my cheese in the suitcase. Yes, it's legal to bring cheese to the US. It's not illegal. That's why my suitcase is always full of cheese. And so I ask either the shop, or if I can get my hands on a food vacuum seal machine, I always try to vacuum pack my cheeses just because they withstand the travel a lot better. And then I just put them like this in the fridge. And then when I'm ready to eat them, I open them and let them aerate for, about maybe an hour or two. And then I clean them. And if you're interested in how to clean cheeses, and I love cheese, so I could talk about cheese for a long time. And I could just show you what to do with aged cheese, and if you see like little green specks, what to do with it. Don't throw it away, by the way. It's perfectly fine. You could just have to clean it. So anyway, I wanted to show you how I travel with cheese. This is it. But of course, you can just buy any pecorino in your supermarket. So to recap, I have Parmigiano Reggiano and I have a pecorino. So a cow's milk cheese and a sheep's milk cheese. And the reason why I would always have both is because most of the dishes from the south of Italy would have pecorino cheese instead of Parmigiano. Now, okay, Chef Sabrina, pick one, okay? This one, always. Parmigiano Reggiano. It goes good like on a shoe. Like you can put it on anything and it's gonna make that anything taste really good. And so if not, the other option, if you cannot find Parmigiano Reggiano, is the Grana Padano. In Grana, you see it, it's very similar. It's a little bit less expensive. Depending on who you ask, they will tell you that it's not as good quality. And yeah, it's true. There's nothing like Parmigiano. But you could also buy Grana and I will forgive you. It's okay. So pecorino and parmigiano. Okay, next category, rice. And rice, honestly, out of all the other items, is the least that you will use unless you want to make risotto, or if you're in the summertime and you want to make a rice salad, which, believe it or not, is actually quite traditional, but it's only during the summertime. Now, what kind of rice? That is the key question. So to make risotto, you have to have carnaroli rice. Carnaroli. The other option, vialone nano. So two types of good rice for risotto, carnaroli or vialone nano. Now, what about arborio? Well, arborio is actually not traditional in Italy for risotto, believe it or not. Now, it is very easy to find. The risotto does come out good, so if you want to buy arborio or you already have a bunch and you're like, okay, what do I do with it? Of course, use it. Make risotto with arborio, that's fine. But if you really want to make traditional risotto, carnaroli rice. And as always, if you'd like to learn how to make risotto, please let me know, because I can make a video about that too, because I love making risotto. So that's it for rice. You really don't use it that much unless you're making risotto, the rice salad during the summertime, and sometimes in soups, but it's not very traditional anyway. Okay, so the next category would be herbs. And I put them all together because it really, Italian cuisine is so regionally oriented or so regionalistic that it will really depend on the dish you're making, which herb you're gonna be using. So when it comes to finishing a seafood dish, or obviously making pesto, or just seasoning a tomato salad, you would use fresh basil. It is very different from the north and the south of Italy, the basil. The basil from the north, it's a little bit more elegant or smoother in taste, whereas the one in the south of Italy is a little bit more peppery. But in any case, seasoning or just finishing off a delicious simple spaghetti with tomato sauce with basil, it's almost a must. Then we have fresh sage. In sage, you would have your traditional preparations of butter and sage when it comes to making a pasta, especially if it's a stuffed pasta. Just a simple sauce or condiment of butter, sage, and then parmigiano. It is just to die for. So you would grab the sage and heat up some butter on your skillet, add some sage and let the butter infuse with the flavor of the sage. Throw in your pasta, saute your boiled already pasta, and saute for a little bit, and then serve with some cheese on top. It's just delicious. Then rosemary, you would use fresh rosemary, not dry. Notice that so far I've been talking about only fresh herbs. So rosemary you would use for maybe your rosemary potatoes in the oven, or maybe lamb, like a lamb stew or a leg of lamb on the fire, on the pit. So this is mostly for, like more robust dishes. They also mix rosemary when they make rubs for porchetta. And then I have parsley, and please only the flat leaf parsley, or the one that is also called Italian parsley. Now, if you can only find the curly one, that's fine as well. But I really like the Italian parsley because I think it has more flavor. It's a little bit more intense. And so you would use Italian parsley to finish off maybe some veggie dishes like zucchini with just extra virgin olive oil and the essence of garlic. That is just very, very traditional, just to finish it off. Or maybe like a mushroom trifolata, you would finish off with parsley. There's also some seafood dishes you can finish off with parsley as well. Then we have our only dry herb, and that is oregano. And oregano is used mainly to season some salads in the winter time when basil is not available, because it would die, it burns because of the cold temperatures. So they use dry oregano. They never use fresh oregano, they always use dry oregano. And let me show you how you can buy fresh oregano if you go to Italy. This is how you can buy fresh oregano when you go to Italy, or also to other places in Europe. You can also find this in Spain and in Greece. And basically they just grab the whole, like a little bouquet of oregano, and they tie it with a string and they hang it upside down, and that's how they dry it out. And so you can buy it like this. And as you can see, again, I have it vacuum packed just so that it lasts a little bit longer. And then what you do is that you just rub all the branches or all the stems, and all the little leaves come off, and you can just keep it in a zip top bag or in a container or in a jar that is airtight. But in any case, you could also buy just a regular dry oregano at your store. Mexican oregano is also really good. It has a different flavor, but it's also really good quality. That's it for herbs: parsley, basil, sage, rosemary, and dry oregano. Now, I think I saved the most important one for last, and I do think that extra virgin olive oil is an absolute must. It's an absolute must in any kitchen pantry, honestly. It doesn't have to be because you're cooking Italian cuisine. It is something that I use for like everything I cook. I cook with extra virgin olive oil. Now, if you want to cook Italian cuisine, I would obviously recommend that you get an Italian extra virgin olive oil, but do you really have to? No, you don't have to. The key and the most important thing is that you buy a good quality extra virgin olive oil. It can be from Greece, from Spain, from Portugal, from Morocco, from, wherever you want, or from California. They have really good extra virgin olive oils as well. Just make sure that it's really good quality extra virgin olive oil, which is not the same as olive oil or pure olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is the one that you should get. It is a first press or a cold press. So basically they just grab the oils and cold press them by mechanical process. There is no heat, there is no friction. So you get like the first release of the beautiful oil that it has, it hasn't been treated with chemicals or with heat. So extra virgin olive oil is the key. Now the one I have here is from Sicily and it has the seal of a DOP. Actually, all Europe has this seal where they protect certain products from each country because they're very traditional or special. And if you want me to go into DOP and IGP and DOC for wines, all of those categories, just let me know because that is like a whole video in itself. Now, if you really want to get into cooking Italian cuisine very like specifically because you're a super foodie, then you should have at least 2 olive oils, extra virgin olive oils from Italy. You should have one from the north of Italy and one from the south of Italy because they're completely different. And honestly, they do vary from region to region as well. So like even if Sicily is in the south, the Sicilian extra virgin olive oil is going to be very different from the one from Puglia, for example, and definitely very different from the one from Calabria. But also the one from Tuscany is very different from the one that you would get from Umbria, for example. So extra virgin olive oil is kind of like wine. It takes everything that surrounds them. It's like the terroir for wine. The same thing is for extra virgin olive oil. There are different olives in different regions, so you're not always going to get an extra virgin olive oil made with the same olives. And so how do you know if the olive oil is Italian? Oh, well, because it says Italian extra virgin olive oil. No, it's actually not because of that. You just have to look in the back and make sure it says product of Italy or produced in Italy. That's how you know that the olives come from Italy, because it might say Italian extra virgin olive oil, but if it doesn't say produced in Italy or product of Italy, it might be that most of the olives come from Italy, but not all of the olives come from Italy. They might have a mixture. Now, is that so bad? No, of course not. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to be very specific in case you also want to be very specific, but you don't have to. Like I said, good quality extra virgin olive oil is what you should have. And then the other fat would be butter. And again, butter and sage, like I was saying, or for braces, or obviously for risotto, butter is very important. To finish off some pastas is very important. So butter is important, everywhere. Butter is also that you should always have in your fridge. I know this is not a pantry item because it's refrigerated, but in any case, I thought it was very important to say it. But if I have to pick, extra virgin olive oil for sure. And here's are my extra items that I think you should always have in your pantry because they're very, very important. I wanted to keep it to like top 5, but honestly, it's really hard or at least for me, it's really hard when it comes to Italian cuisine just to keep it so simple. So I think the other one that should have like a pedestal on its own is canned San Marzano tomatoes. If you cannot find San Marzano tomatoes, just get whole peeled canned tomatoes, like a good quality whole peel canned tomato is a must. Now, San Marzano is from the south of Italy, from San Marzano, and they are also a DOP product. They're a protected type of tomato in Italy. Yes, they protect tomatoes. And it's just really, they're really sweet, very but also very like plump and meaty. They have, especially during the summertime, they're like steaks. They're super thick. The skin is very thick as well. So you can find some Marzano tomatoes. There are different brands that you can find in the supermarket, but canned tomatoes, and always don't get the ones that are crushed. Don't get the ones that are diced. Just get them peeled and whole, because they're gonna have less acidity. They're gonna have less additives added to the can as well, and that way you can do whatever you want with them also. So always get whole canned tomatoes, okay? And this is a must. I mean, tomato sauce, come on, it's so staple. It's such an important sauce because it's also the base for many other things. It is a mother sauce for those who know French cooking. Pizza, hello, you need this. You want to make pizza at home, you want to make so many pastas at home, you need this. So canned tomatoes. And then the other two that are definitely not necessary, but just because I love Italian cuisine from the south of Italy, I always have anchovies and dry spicy pepperoncino. And I love cooking with anchovies. And for those who think that anchovies are salty, no, they are not salty if you get good quality anchovies, okay? They are actually an enhancer of flavors. Well, if you want to learn how to cook with anchovies, let me know, because I put them in so many things that you would never think, because I use it almost as a seasoning. They're so full of flavor, and they're kind of like umami in terms of just enhancing the flavor of whichever dish they're in. And then dry pepperoncino, because I love spicy food, not too spicy, just like a little touch of flavorful spiciness. And the pepperoncino from the south of Italy have a lot of flavor, and they're also very spicy. So that's why I like them, and I always have a little bit in my pantry. So I think this is it. We have our pastas, dry, mainly because it's pantry, a long and a short. You could also have fresh in the fridge, rice, carnaroli, our herbs, and then we have our fats, extra virgin olive oil, must, butter, cheese, yes, of course. And then the extra ones, but also kind of like a category on its own, very important, canned tomatoes. And these are my extra ones, anchovies and dry pepperoncino. So I hope you love the video. I hope you cook lots of delicious Italian foods. And as usual, if you want to learn any techniques, any dishes, any particular thing you'd like to tackle, please let me know in the comments below, because I would love to make a video about that. And thanks again for the recommendation from my viewer, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.